Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Toolkit Tuesday. I'm super excited. Hope you guys had a nice holiday weekend and got to relax a little bit. I'm excited today to be talking about event marketing. It's a topic near and dear to my heart, always has been, and that's not changing with the digital event landscape. But I'm excited to have my guest, Michaela Trulson-Tews. She has a challenging last name, but I tried. Hopefully, I got it right there. Trulson-Tews. Michaela and I met on LinkedIn actually, and we're in the same city. Normally, we would have been able to go to coffee and connect that way, but we met on LinkedIn and have had a chance to talk about what each of us do and our skill set. And we're looking forward to an opportunity to work together. So, good morning, Michaela. Welcome. Thanks for joining
Good
us.
morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, I know that you have lived in this marketing, social media influencer world for a long time, and you've been working with events, but tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've worked for corporate and all kinds of clients, so share with us all your wonderful marketing background.
Yeah, so I was fortunate. I went to Sumner High School and was really involved in ASB when I was there. And it's kind of a cool layout how they do it. They don't just have your typical president, vice president, treasurer. They have those, and then they also have like event planners, and they have assembly coordinators and spirit coordinators, which was really cool to be a part of because that's really where I got the start when it comes to like marketing, and where I finally found out like this is something that people actually do for a living. And I was doing it because I was like, I loved it. And so once I got to college, I had a few internships with Red Bull for 2 years, a couple app startups. And for them, I did a lot of brand experiences, a lot of field marketing and different things like that. And then once I graduated college, I transitioned into a corporate role in dental sales. It wasn't really for me. I met a lot of really great people. I actually did find a love for like the dental industry, but I didn't get that creative outlet like I did with the past jobs and roles that I had. So it wasn't really fulfilling me on a happiness level. So I took the leap. I started working with one of my friends is pretty well involved in e-commerce and drop shipping. So I did that for about a year and learned a lot about Facebook advertising, influencer marketing, Instagram as well. And from there, my brother and I started our advertising and marketing agency. So we were able to take everything that we've learned from the past and put it into one and start helping brands and people with their businesses and events.
So you got the event bug early, it sounds like.
Yes.
I speak to a lot of high school kids and I always say, who planned the prom? You probably have a natural skill set for event planning. So when you learn about marketing, and one of the things I talk about in Toolkit is you can't have a build it and they will come mentality. You have to understand the marketing 101 principles of who your target audience is and what message you want to share and which channels to use. So when we connected, you shared with me a case study of a virtual event that was using advertising to draw a much larger audience than they probably would have with a live event. So tell us a little bit about that client experience and kind of how you guided them to get a great showing.
Totally. Well, I think for all of us during these times, there is, obviously that transition from live events to virtual events, and it can be a bit scary if you weren't initially, going to be having a virtual event. And so the event that I ran ads for was actually, she came up with this idea like a week into quarantine, and she gathered 72 speakers from all over the world to speak on 6 different topics. And it was called Thriving in Uncertain Times. And Mary Allison, she is a counselor. And so it was really cool because, I think during these times, that's something that's kind of overseen, is that a lot of people are alone, and, mental health is important. And so she put on an entire 6-day conference, 72 speakers, 6 speakers each day. And we were able to get over 11,000 people to go to her landing page, put their information in, and then 6,500 people registered for the event.
So she, the format of doing 6 days, what was the strategy behind that from her? Do you know any insight around why a full slate of day after day for 6 days? It's a lot of content, which is awesome. And we're also learning just the length that people will stand. But was there any insight to that?
So she, again, 72 speakers. So she didn't get, or she got a way larger response when she was looking for speakers than she thought she would get, if that makes sense. So she actually, and she still turned away some speakers. So she was like, well, there's so many great people that want to share, some of the topics were like finance, and entrepreneurship, and then some were even like family and health and mental health. Like those were like, each day was different, so you could register for like specific talks and specific people that piqued your interest, and they would send you email reminders those days for those talks. So each talk was about, I want to say 30 minutes to an hour.
So she just packed it in there, right? She had so much content.
Yeah, exactly. You can imagine if there is 72 in one full, it'd be a lot.
Yeah. So when you partnered with her, she has this great concept. She is able to source incredible speakers to deliver relevant and valuable content. So then when you're working with her, she's saying, how do I get the word out? Is that kind of the conversation that you're having? And you're saying, we are the experts in marketing. We can help you target your audience through pretty much social advertising, right? Was the channel she used?
Yep. So we advertised on Facebook and Instagram. And when she first came to us, the biggest thing was getting people to these talks, because the event was free for people to register, and companies were able to obviously showcase what they offer after their talks. So the follow-up was going to be really important for this event. Yeah, so we advertised on Facebook and Instagram, traditional advertising.
And tell us a little bit about that social advertising. What does an event planner, let's say, and there's all kinds of events. We work with those who maybe have a natural audience already, but when an event planner is they're building a great show, live or virtual, but when they talk about how do we spread the word, how do we get the word out, create demand for our event, what are some things that the event planner should be thinking about before they contact you or other marketing agencies to help them? So they're like, what do we need to get together before we come to you? What are some of the key factors there?
Yeah, that's a good question. The number one thing would be your goal for the event.
Got it.
Understanding, are you trying to get sales out of this? Are you trying to grow your brand name? Which would be more like an awareness thing. Right. Are you trying to, grow your email list? Like those are the most important things for us to understand, because that determines how we're setting up our ads. So goal would be a number one thing when you're going to any marketing agency. Make sure you understand why you want to run ads. 2 would be, I would say, understanding the follow-up. So a lot of times with events, I think something that people don't think about is they think about the event, but then they don't understand what to do with the data afterwards. So maybe keeping that in perspective too, because data is so valuable. Like Mary Allison has a huge email list now to work with. So that's also something to think about as well. And that kind of connects to the goal, but I'd say that that's the number one thing when thinking about this, as well as content. if you don't have enough content for ads, that is something that our agency does.
Okay.
We can create content as well. But if you do have content, then that's always a bonus. But when running ads, you want to be able to test different types of creatives to go to different demographics and see, you know, which is going to work best.
Got it. And then I was so impressed with her reach, you know, and relative to her spend. So I think you mentioned she spent around $900, and she got, you know, connected to 11,000 potential viewers of her event and or customers post event, correct?
Right.
And that seems like a really that seems like a great ROI to invest $900 and be able to get, you know, a real connection, solid connection with over 10,000 people.
Definitely. I have the notes open for this specific event. Yeah, so we spent a total of $960. There is 11,384 funnel visits, meaning that they went to her landing page, 6,815 registered, and the cost per an event registration was 14 cents.
That's amazing. That's such great volume. And, you know, and some of the groups that we've been working with, you know, fundraising events and stuff like that are just, you know, they're not constrained to a size of a ballroom or pre-ordering, you know, a meal. Really, there is an opportunity here, I think, with digital events, virtual events, to maximize the reach. And that's where I think working with a professional marketing company to understand how do we maximize this reach, you know, not just talk to the same people with the same message, but let so many more people know that this is an opportunity to engage online with great content. And we are seeing a ton of free content that's available, but also even industry events that are paid. I think if you're working with a marketing agency such as yours, you really can come up with a solid plan, the goals, the spend, and then let you do the work. I think that, so, and then tell me a little bit about influencers. How does that area work?
Yeah, so depending on what your event is, we haven't actually really worked too much with influencers, I'd say within the event space. Our company does a lot with e-commerce, and that's where we focus on the influencer side. But thinking of it right now, with the influencer side, if you were to use influencers for your events, you'd obviously want to have a budget set aside. But some of these influencers have, you know, 500,000 to, you know, even over 1 million reach. And especially if they're local to your event and they're within your niche, let's say you're having, you know, a fitness event or something, there's so many great influencers in the area that can share that on their feed, or maybe even with it being, you know, now that it's a lot of things are digital, you can even have them come on as a speaker, and that would draw their following as well. So
yeah, we find a lot of success, I think, when speakers are able to market the event. You know, I'm speaking at Thrive or whatever the event might have been, and then you reach their communities as well. What are some of the kind of the challenges in marketing a digital event? Do you know some of the things that we should as planners be aware of that might be, you know, I think sometimes we make a spend and we're not really sure what we're doing. We're just testing things, or we're not evaluating the results and then pivoting accordingly. You know, I see some of those as the challenges, but others that might come to mind with you as far as just marketing in general, some of the mistakes that are made.
I think the most important thing is where you're directing people. So a lot of times people will set up ads, and if you want a high conversion, you need to make sure that wherever you're sending people is laid out right. So if you're sending them to a funnel, to a landing page, you want to make sure that landing page is, you know, they can put their information in quickly, and it says what the event is very precisely, with a good information kind of funnel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're sending them to an event page on Facebook, make sure your ad's set up to go to the Facebook event page, not to your website. Things like that are all really important, because otherwise you're not going to be able to, people won't get reminders, you won't be able to capture data, and you won't have any type of numbers to back your results.
And can you pivot quickly inside of a campaign? I mean, I think that's one thing with digital advertising. It seems like you can put something out there, see how it's working, analyze it, and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
In the planning cycle. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I always recommend people A/B test. And even if it comes down to, the audiences you're going after, men versus women, or, I recommend, certain cities, A/B testing, and even your creative, like certain creatives are going to work with different demographics better than other creatives. And that's just normal.
And tell us more, what's the A/B testing, just so everybody has that context?
Yeah. So like, let's say I like to use the example of like an umbrella. Okay. And you have an umbrella and there's a woman using the umbrella in this video. And then there's a video of a man using an umbrella with, same product, 2 different videos, 2 different people, and you're seeing which one performs better. And that's just A/B testing. And once you find which one's performing better, you can cut the other one and just run with the one that's
so
converting.
Like scenario A marketing, scenario B. Is that what the AB stands for?
Just
to make sure everybody understands that. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes I need to work on my terminology.
Oh, you know what? We got our own events, our own event vocabulary. So, tell us again, like on the any of the social media advertising, again, if we're using that as part of our arsenal now to extend our reach, what are some of the things that we need to understand, like tag words, main words that would draw people in? Again, what information about our ideal customer helps you target better?
That's a really good question. And so one thing I like to do to start off before anything is create the avatar. And by avatar, I mean like the individual of who would be coming to your event. So let's say Sally, she loves yoga, she eats vegan, lives in Seattle, and just kind of creating this person that would be the ideal person to come to your event, writing down everything that they're into. And then I like to take that and not only create audiences for my campaign through that, but I also like to add those types of verbiage that might fit that avatar into my copy. And copy is your caption for your ad. And one thing to remember when writing your caption is people are on social media to be social. They're not on social media to be sold to. So I like to write a story or something that is very natural sounding. I think we've all seen the buy one, get one free, 50% off, get it today or it's gone. And I just have noticed that it gets passed over a lot more because it's that cliche. So if you can make it engaging and friendly and open, I'd say that's probably the best route to go.
I think that's a great point. And I think sometimes it's generational for sure. I know, as a Gen Xer, it's just our nature to see it as a marketing tool. And therefore we need to put a call to action, and we need to, really be clear on our goal to sell something. And I hear that from, the millennials about just, we're going to see through that a sales approach versus an engagement. And so that's why I think even more important to work with marketing teams that understand the tone of social so that they do strike the right, messaging with potential audience, and also engagement, that people aren't scared away, that they actually will come in and engage in that. When doing live events or digital events, is there something specific around social advertising that's most connected to a digital event? Like, is there something around the fact that we're producing a digital event makes social marketing even more relevant, or, directly a natural channel, if you will, because we're doing digital event?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I completely agree with what you just said. If you're doing something online and you're not advertising online enough, or especially through social media, which, by the way, social media engagement's gone up over 27% throughout quarantine. and it's
Wow.
just increasing. So yeah, if you're not advertising on social media for your online event, I think that you're really missing out on a big market. If you do already have an email list, that's also a great place to go as well. But I think that the double whammy is going to give you the best results.
And how does that integration work? So if we've got the 500 people that have always come to our event, is that something we can share with you, and then you can, that it will inform you about, or is there a way to even work in those emails and those targeted folks through a social campaign?
Yeah. So if, let's say you have, your same 500 people, maybe not all 500 follow you on social media, but the amount, the percentage that does, and you can even encourage people in an email to follow your Facebook page, we can go on and we can retarget all of your followers.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I think, in live events, we used to have a tech area where we would, at some point during the conference, do a call to action to say to the live attendees and chairs, follow us on social, so that they plug into your community, so you can talk to them year round in between events and that sort of thing. So I think it's important for any event owner to understand your existing community, and then watch that grow, watch those numbers grow, whether it's organic or through a marketing campaign, understanding that you're increasing your community reach. Because a lot of people will say, I want to have a great event, and I'll say, what's your goal? To have 200, fitness experts there. And then I'll say to them, how many fitness experts do you know, or that are in your direct circle of influence, that when you send out, hey, fitness pros, we're having an event, how many of those do you currently own in your community, in your network? And oftentimes they're like, well, we don't have any, but we have great content for pros. And so then I'm like, okay, well, then you're going to have to go find those fitness pros somewhere to let them know about your event, whether that's through a marketing partner that already has the community assembled somewhere, or through this acquisition of customers. And using social is a great tool to do that. I mean, you can identify fitness pros and get them directly plugged in, right? Was your client shocked that there was like over 10,000 people now connected to her?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, because again, the speakers were from all over the world. And so something kind of cool that happened that she didn't expect was she was having people messaging her from different parts of the world that were like, this has really helped me. In specific, there was a woman from Mexico City that messaged her and said, thank you so much. These talks have truly helped me and have changed my life perspective. And just kind of cool to see like how that's grown her brand globally, where she's really well known, I'd say, in the Tacoma area and the Pierce County area. And yeah, it's really helped her be able to expand, and, being able to expand on that level gives you so much more opportunity to grow and to open up other opportunities. So
well, and I think in the digital events that we've done, I've been amazed as people are logging in and they're like, we're here from Spain and Japan. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure those people ever would have made it to a live event for this particular startup or for this brand, or it's just it's the ability to connect globally is strong in this digital space. And with digital social advertising around your digital event, I think you can just, cast a wide net, I guess is what I'm saying around that. What are a couple things that when again, event planners are sitting down and they're making their marketing plans, so they have to understand their avatar, their persona, their main ideal client, if you will, that will come to the event. And then I would assume they need to have an understanding of their game plan around the goals, right, of what they want to do. They should have an idea of budget. Is there any sort of budget guidelines, or like when you advise on budget, is there like, what should we be considering?
Well, with it being digital, you want to consider how big your company and brand already is. There's a big difference between someone just starting off and someone that already has a huge following, because in many cases, if you already have a huge following, and you're wanting to increase that even more, sometimes it'll cost more for advertising. if you do have a larger budget, you're going to reach more people. So there's also that. I'd say those are kind of the things to think about, if that helps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the goals, the audience, the budget, and then I think, again, when we talked, I was so impressed with, here's a counselor, a local counselor that wants to put on a great show virtually, and she spends less than $1,000 now. She has over 6,500 people registered to attend that she now can talk to and engage with on a regular basis for ancillary products and all this good stuff. So, I mean, it was just a huge win, Michaela. Were you so excited when you saw the numbers?
Yeah, no, I was so excited for her. It's funny. So I met her boyfriend. We went on a walk with our dog, and we were on opposite sides of the park, and we both had Aussies, and they loved each other, and we just kind of, got chit chatting or whatever. And it's like, you should meet my girlfriend, and gave him my card. And we connected, and I'm so happy we connected because she's looking to do more of these events. And I'm excited for her. It's really cool to see a local person in the community gain that success. So, and really anybody, but it was exciting to have it be, she lives just down the street. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think as a young marketing company, that customer acquisition for you, to get these event planners thinking about the value of working with a professional marketing team who can guide them in the process of figuring out how to maximize their attendance. It's really important for, I think it's important to let the people do what they do best, find the pros that can run in their lane and offer maximum input, and, build the team with the skills that you need. So not every event planner is a professional marketer. And that's what I found. Again, they have this build it and they will come mentality. They're focused on right now, which tech platform to use and all this. And I will say to them, what is the marketing plan? How many people, how many people do you want there? Who do you want there? Is this new? Are you doing a new marketing strategy because you're digital versus when you were just trying to put butts and seats, and thinking through that marketing, and then engaging with a professional marketer that can guide around appropriate spend. That's the other thing. I feel like sometimes as not professional marketers, we can throw money at things and we don't really understand if it's working or not, and if it's not working, how to change the strategy to get traction. So I just want to commend you on an amazing case study. And one digital event that, she went from 0 event attendees to over 6,000, and with your assistance. And so way to go. And I'd love to make sure that people understand how to find you. We'll put your information, obviously spell out your name, but is LinkedIn the best way to reach you?
I am very active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Also email, Instagram, if you're into that.
You're going to get us on board with all of that.
So I'd say, Instagram, LinkedIn, and email would be the best ways.
Okay, great.
Or phone. I don't mind sharing my number either.
Love that. So we'll make sure that our Toolkit community knows how to get in touch with you. I want to commend you for sharing a great case study of a best practice of turning out a massive global audience for a first-time event, and really believe in your skills as a marketing partner for a lot of event planners. So appreciate you joining us today and talking about event marketing for digital events. And we'll be in touch soon. We'd love to have you work with us on other Toolkit events as well, and grow our community. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thanks
Michaela. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.